Hi, I am Latoya, an Iraqi female veteran who joined in Houston, Texas. I originally joined as a hospital corpsman and was stationed at 3 different duty stations, which would be Maryland, Spain, and Virginia. With my first duty station, I worked on an oncology ward, which was very rewarding because I experienced life and death at the same time. During that transition, I actually was deployed to Iraq, which was definitely life-changing. One as a female, one as being 18, and one as being unexperienced with life. So at this time, I was deployed on the USNS Comfort on a burn unit. It was 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Very taxing to the body, the mind, the spirit, everything. I dealt with ages from 0 to elderly. At that point in time, I actually realized, wow, I'm away from everything I know. I'm in the middle of a war zone. When is this going to end? It lasted for 2 months. I lost a total of 20 pounds within 2 months. And that was the beginning of me being diagnosed with PTSD. When I came back to a US soil, I was totally different. I was changed, I was humbled, but I was also afraid. Afraid of what I saw, afraid of talking about what I seen, and afraid of just moving forward. So from that point, March of 2003 to April of 2003 was the deployment status. I lived my life as if nothing happened, which a lot happened. I eventually decided that, listen, something's different. I need to address things. So at that point, me being a young sailor, I decided to leave the country, but it was a reward because I lived in Spain. So I went from death and dying to maternity. So I worked maternity for 2 years, and that was tremendously rewarding because I was not taking away, I was giving back. So at that time, I said, you know what, let me further my career. Let me just try and see what else is out there on the naval side. So I entered a pharmacy tech school, passed with flying colors, but something was in me still missing. Because I scored so high in my pharmacy tech school, I was able to pick what was available on a list. And with my number, it was Japan. So I'm like, oh my goodness, here I am overseas again. So how the military works, you take an overseas screening, and I failed due to mental status. It had nothing to do with work experience or anything like that. You just have to pass the screening. So with that, that was the second part of the PTSD because I was discharged within a month, which most sailors, soldiers, and Marines have a year of transition. It's called the TABS program. But since I was not combat ready, they let me go within a month. And that started the downfall of instability. So pretty much, I was let go honorably, but they didn't follow the doctor's orders. And that was devastating because I wanted to be a career naval person. And it didn't happen the way I wanted to. And I was let go like nothing. So by me being discharged in 2007, I experienced a lot of bouts of homelessness. I'm gonna say about a total of 6 times between 2007 and now 2018. So I went from Virginia to Florida, Florida to Connecticut. I became a single mother. Well, I became a mother in 2013, and I was a single mother. I left Florida to come to Connecticut to have a better grounding of things and to also have other family members from the paternal side involved. With that being said, it didn't happen the way I was supposed to. 3rd round of PTSD. So I literally was in a homeless shelter with my 2-week-old son, and I literally didn't know how did I end up so stable and now I'm at the bottom. With that being said, I had a veterans organization get me out within a month, and I transitioned. I didn't transition the way I was supposed to. I transitioned on the pretenses you have a place, but you don't have a job, you don't have that stability to withstand what's life. So that happened from 2013 to the beginning of 2013 to the end of 2013. I became homeless again. because again, I did not have sustainability with financial status. I then entered Female Soldiers, Forgotten Heroes in Bridgeport. They were phenomenal. We had the best living situation. We had everything at our access. We even transitioned with money to go. And it was just the most amazing situation because I felt like they really care about female soldiers, sailors, and Marines because we weren't always looked upon as being veterans. I'm not saying we're not status-wise, but they didn't realize that we needed the help as much as males did too. So at that time, I transitioned back to the city of Waterbury from Bridgeport. I transitioned with friends. I was not homeless again, but I was still not stable because I was living from friends to friends. So at this time, I was connected with HUD-VASH, and that program entitled me to be stable for life. And that was the most amazing thing because I didn't realize that I was even eligible for something like that. And that was through Jennifer Glass in the VA. Furthermore, you know, of course, we get our financial hardships, they go up and down. I connected myself with Al Galorn, who is a Vietnam veteran, who is phenomenal because he gave me the best veteran affiliate, Easter Seals, and the individual that I am so grateful to know and meet is Beth Pritchard. With that being said, it literally started as an emergency financial situation, and now it has exploded to, we're here, you're not alone, and that's my motto today, you're not alone. It started with the emergency financial assistance again. It started with transitioning me to having stable transportation with my vehicle that I could not have done without them at the time financially. It also helps me with, it's continually to helping me with my son and his schooling, his transportation, because I'm an expectant mother, will be of 3 pretty soon. Also, the job market, they're tackling. It's like they really slid in at the perfect time because they're not attacking just the financial status, they're attacking the whole spectrum. Also, my PTSD, it's getting back to where I feel comfortable seeing someone and speaking to someone about the whole scenario. And amazingly, they're willing, and I know this is not, but they, my new baby. And for a mom, that is the best thing ever, to know that you have other hands involved. These individuals are amazing, and not every Easter Seals does what they do, and I'm sure not to the capacity that they do. And at this point in time, for a war veteran, they're amazing. You don't meet people like that. You don't meet affiliates. Everybody has a reason not to help, 1, 2, or turn you away from what, you know, is really available to you. So at this time, I want to give my sincerest gratitude to Al Galorn and Beth Pritchard because they're tackling this situation head on. They don't know me from the next person, but they know that I will succeed. They know that I will be a role model to other women, and they will be with me for every step of the way, and they are lifelong friends.
I can tell you dry.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Can
No.
No, that's not fine.
The light looks great with the Osmo. You don't have enough head on.
I'm sorry, am I still?
Would you mind grabbing some tissues? Let me get some of those. There should be a box somewhere.
Did I do okay?
Oh, you did
Oh, you're doing fantastic.
phenomenal.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to zero in on certain parts of your story.
Okay.
So you can expand on that
Sure.
just a little bit.
Okay.
So you we're off camera right now.
Yes.
So you were in the service for how long?
6 years.
6 years. And you were in the Navy,
Mhm.
and you served, did you say aboard a ship?
Well, I was shore duty,
Okay,
but my deployment status was a ship, the USNS Comfort, which was on the East Coast.
the US what?
USNS Comfort, United States Naval ship, so it wasn't a regular ship, it was a hospital ship
Oh.
because
got
I
it,
was
okay.
medical. And I kind of skipped over that, but thank you. Yes, I was medical, so that was my deployment status. Instead of being in the dirt on the field, I was on a ship on a burn unit.
Okay,
And we took care of no Americans. It was just enemy prisoners of war. So that was, gosh, it's like it was yesterday. But I was on Discovery Channel holding a baby. It was burned 90% of its body. So I was the only one that was able to keep the baby quiet. So that was just like, oh my God, what is this? What are we doing? You know, it was humanitarian, but you're like, why are we here? You know, but medical has to do. We're still under the Geneva Convention, so we have to help. So that lasted for 2 months, which thank God it wasn't a long time. Sure.
Good, right,
Oh, more?
right there.
Okay.
You moved from where you initially started.
so how are you doing okay, or how are you doing, Dawn, with LaToya being in a swivel chair as opposed to a stationary chair?
Well, she's rocking back and forth a little
Yeah.
bit, but whatever makes you comfortable. It's-
Okay. I'll be a little more still.
Do we wanna take a look at maybe a stationary chair? Like, are you able to?
Actually, there's some wood chairs over there. I'll grab it.
I can do that.
Why don't you hit stop recording?
You don't have to look at the camera.
Oh,
So
okay.
if it's,
And look at her.
if it's better for you,
Okay.
I'll take my glasses off. You can look in my eyes.
Okay.
Because it's usually easier to talk to someone,
Yes.
you know, and
Than
write
an
to
actual-
someone, yeah, as opposed to the camera. So what we're gonna want is like a brief synopsis of the important parts of, or the really relevant parts
Mhm.
of your service in the Navy.
Mhm.
And that you were discharged, and at that time you were undiagnosed with
PTSD.
PTSD.
Mhm.
And then, so then what happened? Like, how were you finally diagnosed?
So pretty much I discharged in 2007. I started a claim, which I didn't realize that the claim for IBS was in connection with the PTSD. I just didn't have enough medical evidence for them to diagnose at the time. So it didn't happen until about 2009 when they decided to say, listen, she has mild PTSD. And at the time, I didn't, trust people, so I was in and out of treatment, meaning only a group scenario, was no medications involved. So I was in and out of the treatment. It wasn't a steady process. I didn't really get steady until about 2010, and then I transitioned out of the program because it was just too intense. Other women dealt with stuff way worse, like sexual trauma and stuff. So I couldn't do a group setting. So when I came to Bridgeport in 2013, the end, I was seeing a therapist individually for, I would say, 2 months. And that helped, but it wasn't ongoing. So now it's my appointment tomorrow. We'll start the ongoing process because I have support systems to handle kids. Kids are at school, so I can go by myself.
Right, got it, okay. So it started with IBS, and
Yes.
through the IBS, they.
That was the connection
Yeah.
because there's levels of PTSD.
Mhm.
So mine was with anxiety,
Mhm.
and also it didn't affect me all the way mentally. It was more physical as well.
So it made them decide through this is just my own curiosity,
Mhm.
through the IBS diagnosis to then send you.
Because the story, I told them what happened, and they're like, wait a minute, this would make someone have PTSD, them being discharged,
Yeah.
on top of what they saw.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that far apart.
Right.
So they're like, that's a symptom of, because it attacks you physically and mentally. For some people, it's just mental, but me, it's physically too.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to tell the story? Do you want to say that, you know, naturally she experienced trauma when she was, you know, active duty, and then you experienced trauma on your discharge,
Mhm.
and then, you know, you experience more trauma through homelessness and.
Okay, take that part and just make it all, like you said, all relevant.
Well, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of your journey,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's part of the journey, and I do think you hit on, the burn unit experience, because I think that was a trauma
Mhm.
piece.
Yes, that was the main, the
main
first.
driver of that.
Mhm.
You know, when you say you're holding a baby that's 90% burned, I mean, that's traumatic,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
I mean, so part of your journey there,
Mhm.
and then the homelessness, and
That
then,
piece.
you know.
The discharge, so the burn, the discharge, the homelessness.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Don't you
talk,
think?
yeah.
And then finding Easter seals.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that there's something before that though. So with regard to the burn unit,
Mhm.
you mentioned something that brought you to tears, which was that you were caring for
Enemy prisoners of war.
enemy prisoners of war
Mhm.
and children.
Yes, which were enemy prisoners of war.
Right, okay, all
Mhm.
right.
So I can bring that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what, because, I mean, gosh, that alone is a huge trauma. I mean, on so many levels,
Mhm.
on so many levels.
We didn't touch one American, and that's what I thought we were there for.
Yeah.
They shipped them to Germany. So
Wow.
it's a lot of conspiracy behind that, but that's not what this is about.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so yeah, I want people to know, like, what you experienced
Right.
there. If you're
Yes.
comfortable talking about
Mhm.
that. You know, that you were in the service for,
6
you know,
years.
how many
Mhm.
years, and, or you can even say that you were discharged, you know, at the end of 6 years, or.
I'll be like from 2001 to 2007, I was active duty. In 2003, I experienced the war situation. Burn unit, enemy prisoners of war, first sign of PTSD, and then just,
Yeah.
okay.
And Don, how are you doing on sound? Do we need her to elevate her
No,
voice a little bit?
it's fine.
Because
Oh,
I
okay.
whisper a lot.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You can hear okay?
Yeah.
Oh, good, 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 good,
Okay.
all right. Well, we were rolling during all of that, but
That's
that's
fine.
okay. All right, so why don't we start
Yes.
there?
Yes.
And then we'll
Okay.
move on to
Okay.
other parts of the story.
Okay. Hi, I am LaToya Guillory, a Navy war veteran that served from the years of 2001 to 2007. In 2003, I'm sorry, can we stop?
It's not my fault, is that you?
Yes.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay,
Do
I'm
you want
sorry.
me to bring it to you?
I don't think I need to necessarily answer it. I thought it was all totally off. You know what? Can I please answer
Yeah,
it really
yeah,
quick?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Please,
This
please.
is my sitter. Hi, my name is LaToya Guillory. I am a U.S. Navy war veteran. I served from the years active duty 2001 to 2007. In 2003, I was deployed to Iraq. I was a medical assistant and I worked on a burn unit for 2 months. With that being said, that job entailed for me to work with any individuals from the ages of 0 to elderly. I took care of a baby, actually a toddler, that was 90% burned. And the only time that it stopped crying was when I held it. And mind you, these were enemy prisoners of war and their children. That was my first sign of PTSD. When I stopped the deployment in 2003 of April, I came back to US soil, not knowing that I had PTSD. I actually transitioned into a pharmacy tech school, which I graduated with honors. I was told that I was not combat ready, so I had to be discharged against the doctor's orders. Second sign of PTSD. That was literally activated within a month. After that happened, I became homeless a total of 6 times. So I transitioned from Virginia to Florida to Connecticut. With that being said, I utilized veterans organizations, but nothing was as solid as on the affiliate side as the Easter Seals. which I give my best gratitude to Al Galorn for connecting me with the individuals. And the main person that has given me the hope to move on is Beth Pritchard. It started off as an emergency financial assistance situation. Now it's blossomed into what can we do? We're here and you're not alone. So we went from helping me fixing my vehicle, that is stability, because that's my main source of transportation. Also getting my son, actually his transportation under wraps because I am soon to deliver my third child and I am a single mother. Also the transition of getting back into the workforce, because at the end of the day, you have to know who knows who in this life. It's not always about your work ethic. You have to have great connections. She is a leader because at the end of the day, the things that are happening and are happening for me would not be possible unless someone that is in a leadership position takes your situation head on. The process of me having a new child, that is phenomenal. I don't know of anyone that would go above and beyond on an affiliate side to help an individual bring a life into this world. With the help of Beth and with the continuous help of Beth, we also are tackling my home situation to be transitioned into something that's a better environment for me. And I'm very sincere about my gratitude for all of the individuals that are involved, and especially Beth. She is not only a role model, but also a lifelong friend.
Great, some beautiful things there. So, what?
Instead of the cameras, just
Oh,
look
look
at
at
her,
her.
you'll feel better.
Okay, 'cause
I'm wondering if the Osmo would be, okay, so she was looking at the camera, that's why it was going over that way, okay. All right, in terms of your service, this is gonna probably, I mean, how long is the end product video going to be that's gonna be produced for the event?
For that, but we're gonna use this for multiple things, and getting outreach and getting.
This could be a
female
3-4 minute video,
Yeah, yeah,
not just for the gal.
right, yeah, this is really multiple purposes, so.
Okay.
The timing.
But
could
for the
shift.
gala, the story that you wanna tell at the gala,
So I
which is
think,
the most immediate need.
right, so she will probably be, the whole thing won't be more than 5 minutes probably,
Mhm.
right? I would think.
Mhm. And so this part of it would be how much?
It'll depend. It'll depend.
Likely? No more than?
Well, it depends on all the content, and how
Right.
it comes together.
Exactly. So that's why I can't really answer that yet, but I would guess probably 3-4 minutes, depending on what else we have.
Oh, so it would be that much of it?
Possibly.
Okay.
It's almost like a keynote of the.
She is the keynote of that video, in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's gonna depend, because we're putting together, this to get the word out.
Mhm.
You're also, this is used, as I mentioned to you, to connect with
Female veterans.
and to show this role model here. So, I'm not sure, because we haven't really seen the other veterans who are going to have some testimonial pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what that's gonna look like completely. I know a lot of it's centered around work,
Mm-hmm.
finding employment and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, all right. So, well, it's gonna be down to a few minutes. So what we wanna do is to, distill.
So because I wasn't on the skeleton crew, which was the people who actually sailed out there, I just flew there and back.
gotcha,
So it's just like a mission.
gotcha. So what I heard around the baby, I didn't hear that I was the only one, so somehow that made me feel good. I heard the only way I could get that baby to stop crying was to continue to.
And I had to ask permission for that because we really weren't supposed to interact with.
Right,
you
which
know.
actually for me meant she knew she had to do that to have the baby stop crying, but each time she did, that traumatized you,
It did.
right? Am I understanding that right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Because we got the background stories with what we were doing. So the baby was held as a shield by its older sibling, is why it was
Oh, God.
burned. There's a lot I haven't told a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
goes on, yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Probably 6 years ago I wouldn't be able to talk about it, but
Yeah.
now I am.
Yeah. Well, and good that you can, for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. How deep do you want to go with this?
So I think that, you know, she mentioned holding the baby, as far as her experience, her exposure point. I think, look, as a civilian, none of us can really
Mhm.
relate
Mhm.
to that.
Mhm.
So I think some pieces of that, like what
Mhm.
you just said about, that baby was burned because he or she was used as a shield.
Yeah.
I've heard that before, because I come from a military family, so my
Mhm.
family shared things, but I don't know that the usual person would really understand that that's actually happening.
No, I think it's powerful.
No, that
Yeah.
doesn't get the news.
Right,
No,
right.
no, I think that's really powerful.
And maybe you add that piece that the baby ended up there because he or she was
Mhm.
used as a shield. I don't want this to turn into any type of political thing.
Right.
Right, it's just talking about what is it that you were exposed to?
Right.
That it brought me.
Your
And what did
experience,
that
yeah.
experience do to you
Mhm.
Yeah.
that ultimately has contributed to you ending up where you are?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm. That makes sense.
Okay, so why don't we do that,
Mhm.
and then stop at the end of so how long after that were you discharged?
4 years.
Oh, so you had 4 more years that you were in.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So you're on burn shift the first 2 years?
Yes, I joined 2001. 2 years in, 2 months of war, then 4 years in, and then discharged.
And you did, and then it was said, I believe, that you wanted to stay in.
I wanted to do 20 years.
Yeah, she wanted to be career,
Yes.
right, but because of the medical, the PTSD.
The
which
failing
was-
of the medical overseas screening, which
Yeah.
they called it.
Which is, due to the trauma you received as part of your service.
And they would have diagnosed me because I was saying that was by a psychologist. That's the only way you can do an overseas screening. And
So,
they
I'm
would-
sorry, can you say that louder?
The overseas screening is done by a psychologist, so they would have diagnosed me, but they didn't even give them time to do that. They said, you're not combat ready, so we have to let you go.
Okay, all right. So I think I want to hear in the beginning
Mhm.
that you enrolled
Mhm.
and your intention was that you were going to be,
A career.
you were going to, have your full career was going to be in the Navy.
Mhm.
That you were committed at that level. I think that's really important
To serve our
to
country.
hear.
Oh, I could also mention the scholarship that was given. It was the Navy College Fund because I did the delayed entry program for a year because I knew that this was a career.
Mhm. So what does that mean?
So pretty much from a year before I was eligible to go in, so I was 17. So that full year I did military training until it was time to go. So I knew everything about the military before it was time to go.
Okay.
So that's why I said this is going to be a lifelong thing because I trained myself a year before going in.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would recommend just saying, and I think at some point it did come out that you had wanted to stay in,
Mhm.
this was going to be your career.
Right.
Mhm.
And that, but for this medical condition brought on
The-
by the trauma of your combat experience.
That's right.
You had to.
Be
they told
discharged.
You had to be discharged, because
Mhm.
you were combat ready.
Mhm. That's right. The
Yeah.
definite word says you're not combat ready.
Yeah.
So.
So what we want to do is we want to set it up kind of in a sequence. So
Mhm.
I, joined
Joined.
the Navy, and, you know, I wanted this to be my career.
Mhm.
And that's why. So when
This
we get to the
situation
part-
is where it is,
exactly.
okay.
So when we get to the part where you talk about you being discharged, like, you did not expect that because you intended that this was gonna be your career.
Mhm.
So, you know, some people sign up for, you know, however long they have to sign up in order to get their college education, and that's it, that's all they wanna do. We met a lot of those people on the.
And they'll tell you.
Yeah, no, they do, yeah. But then there are other people that said, this is what I wanted to do.
I had no
This is my
children either.
career." Yep, and, you know, I've got this path that I wanna follow, and.
I want to become a nurse, and because I didn't want to have to pay for anything on the outside. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Just now I see what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
mixed. We want to gear towards the beginning, the reason why, and now where I am right now.
So you had this dream.
Hmm.
The dream was squashed.
Yes,
right?
it was.
So we want to be able to emphasize
That part.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why don't we reshoot the beginning?
It's fine, you've been filming all the time.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Hi, my name is Latoya Guillory. I am a female Iraqi veteran. I served from 2001 to 2007. The year 2003 was forever life-changing. I worked on a burn unit for 2 months. With that being said, we took care of enemy prisoners of war. My first initial thought was not to go to war, it was to become a lifer, is what we call it in the Navy. So with that being said, I took care of a baby that was 90% burned, that was used as a human shield by its sibling. With that being said, it changed my life in many ways, and it was the beginning of my PTSD. So I later found myself into a pharmacy tech school. I enrolled, I graduated with honors, and said, I have a new outlook on life, I can continue. I didn't realize that the PTSD was still working on me tremendously. At that time, I completed school. I was discharged because I was not combat ready, which was devastating because I initially joined a year before, which was called the Delayed Entry Program, to make sure that this was the foundation of me staying in for 20 plus years. I had no children, I had no barriers. I was the Navy. I lived and breathed the Navy. With me being discharged going against doctor's orders, I was told I was not combat ready due to felony and overseas screening, which meant I was discharged within a month, which most individuals have a year of transition. That was devastating. With that being said, I experienced bouts of homelessness, being displaced, being mentally unstable, just a train wreck. At that time, I decided to move from Virginia to Florida, from Florida to Connecticut. Me being based in Connecticut, I found veterans organizations that helped me, but none even came close to what Al Galorn and Beth Pritchard have teamed up to do. With his knowledge and him being a Vietnam veteran as well, he had heard my story before. And it was sad to him because he didn't understand how I was such a stellar sailor and discharged, and this is what the result of being discharged is. With that being said, he connected me with Beth Pritchard, and I am forever grateful for this woman. She is not only a friend, she is a mentor, she's a leader, and she's not only helped me financially, she's helped me morally. So with the emergency financial transition of getting my car fixed was just the beginning. Secondly, we tackled employment. She has my resume to an individual who is pretty much an expert at what she does. She also is helping me transition into a stable home. Not that my home isn't stable, but a better area for the children and for my peace of mind. Also, she is just phenomenal. They've all come together to help me with this new bundle of joy that I'm about to experience, which would be my third child at this time. And my greatest, sincerest gratitude, and for any female veteran that would ever need any affiliate, please knock on EasterSeal's door because they will not turn you away.
That's good. I'm gonna stop there. Can, can you, can you start, and you
Yeah.
can just state this and then
Mhm.
we'll cut?
Mhm.
You know, just state that you joined when you were
17.
years old.
Mhm.
And that, you know, you thought that you were going to, at that time, that you were going to have a full career, your entire career was going to be in the Navy.
Mhm.
And, you know, if you want to talk about how you trained
Mhm.
that year
Mhm.
in preparation of that, you
Mhm.
can certainly say that.
Mhm.
Let's do that for
Okay.
now.
That sounds
do you have
good.
anything else? Okay.
Okay. Hi, my name is Latoya Guillory. I am an Iraqi veteran. I actually did the delayed entry program for 1 year prior to active duty service, which began at the age of 17. With that piece, I said the military is a career for me. I'm not looking back. I'm going to soar. I was already a stellar high school student, so I knew that the military would be just a piece of cake. But it wasn't. I had a lot to endure. I endured the war. I endured working in a burn unit. I endured holding a baby for 30 minutes at a time by request of an officer because I knew that was the only way an individual would have my care, and they were also enemy prisoners of war. At that time, I decided, let me just put this behind me and continue in the military. But with having PTSD, it doesn't go away. It gets better or worse. At that time, I says, you know, let me go to school. Let me get into something that actually is meaningful, that will carry me on. I did a pharmacy tech school, which was very rewarding, but I had no idea that the bombshell at the end was going to land me a discharge within a month, undiagnosed with PTSD, and against the doctor's orders. With that being said, my dreams of being a career military woman was crushed. And that was the second sign of PTSD. And I've literally been homeless in this place and unstable since, because it's not even fathomable what I did before to where I am now. As a female veteran, you have to understand when there's help available, please reach out. And if I didn't have Al Galorn and Beth Pritchard as veteran affiliates, this would not be possible. I wouldn't be here talking to you, and I wouldn't be in the position of transition that I am already in. Financially, I've been helped with my vehicle. On the workforce side, I've been helped with my resume and have potential prospects waiting for me to deliver. I'm also being helped with now my newborn that's approaching soon. That's not in the scope of practice, but again, that shows you that there's people out there that will take you under their wing. And their motto is, you're not alone. And they've shown me week after week, I am not alone. So if you ever need anyone at all, Easter Seals would be the first line of defense.
That was really good. That's very powerful, so stay in that energy.
Okay.
Okay, so, when you were discharged, and you say that you were homeless 6 times, so what happened? Like, how did that happen?
What happened was there was no transition process.
Well,
It's called the
okay,
TAP program.
but,
Okay.
Pretend that you're like I did.
Oh, okay.
prompt you.
Okay.
So,
Talk about the discharge part?
Well, talk about the homelessness. How
Uh-huh.
did,
Okay. So you want me to start? Okay. So pretty much, when you become a veteran, or when you're transitioning into a veteran, it's called the TAP program, Transition Assistance Program, which helps you, grounds you to become from military to civilian. I didn't have that option. So I was literally going from military to civilian blindsided, which really dampened my transition. I had no transition. So I was literally thrown to the wolves, because for from a 17.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you. So although you had an honorable discharge, you were not given the opportunity to, so if you could say it in that way.
Upon discharge, it was definitely honorable, I was not given the option to transition into a civilian life in the civilian sector, because a lot of military jobs and situations do not transfer over to civilian. You have to kind of be cookie cut into
Okay. But, so they just decided that they just didn't offer you this program?
I had to go. I wasn't combat ready.
Okay.
So the medical condition of not being combat ready.
Well, I guess it was psychological,
Right.
right?
Yep, right.
What's
So
with medical?
PTSD,
Mhm.
ultimately, I mean, that.
And if I
mental
would
health
have,
side-
if they would have let me stay with the doctor, he would have diagnosed me because he was a gynecologist.
Right, okay. So, so how much do we want to say about why she was honorably discharged?
Well, I think, just saying that which she has, that she was honorably discharged, because she was not
Combat ready.
because of the mental health challenges brought on by the PTSD,
Mhm.
which was a result of
The war.
your combat
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
Right?
Okay.
Is that
Mhm.
right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you.
And because I don't understand, but I think that's what a big problem is, so you were discharged, so you went straight to discharge, you didn't go to
30 days.
transition to discharge?
30 days.
She
Okay.
came home in 30 days. So
Yeah.
So where were you prior to that? Before?
So I was in Portsmouth, Virginia,
Okay.
and I was in the school, the pharmacy tech school.
Okay.
And like I said, I gave up, they told me you give up certain rights. So whatever is entailed, this was the detailers that discharged me. This wasn't, my doctor wanted me to stay in. He's like, we want you to stay in. We want to get you, see what's going on with you.
Right.
And they overrode his orders.
So what I don't want this to become, for this purpose, is a debate on
Why.
she was
Exactly.
discharged,
Yeah.
the why she didn't get transition.
Right,
Mhm.
She didn't get it.
right.
She's back in the civilian world. She's struggling.
Right.
Mhm.
And now Easter Seals is here, and we are walking with it. We are taking care of it. Right? Right? As you said, my mama bear's here. I'm like,
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say that you were honorably discharged, and within
Go in.
30 days,
Mhm.
You're back in the
you,
civilian world.
yeah, you were back in the civilian work. So what if you were to say it that way?
Mhm.
Okay.
So hi, I'm Latoya. I'm an honorably discharged veteran that experienced 6 years in the military. With that being said, at the age of 17, I decided to do the delayed entry program, which grounded me to be a lifelong Navy female.
Stop you, I'm
Oh, sorry.
sorry. You said that you, I don't even know what you said. Could you say that you served?
Mhm.
What did she say? It wasn't served.
I know I said,
Oh, you
I said I'm an honorably discharged veteran,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then, yeah, I like that, that's good.
No,
Yeah.
that was.
but you want me to, before that, you want me
Yeah,
to
you
say that I
said,
served
I don't know, you said something about your service, but it wasn't the
Well, you
word.
did the delayed entry,
program.
and then.
That started at
yeah,
17,
just say served.
before I came
Served.
active duty. That's
I
what I
would
was
just say
saying.
I served my country.
Yeah, say served.
Okay.
You didn't use the word served.
I
You used
didn't.
a different word, other than
Okay.
served,
For
but
those
served is
who
so
are
much more powerful.
Civilians. I get that easily.
Okay. Hi, my name is Latoya Guillory. I served the Navy, my country, honorably for 6 years. At the age of 17, I decided to do the delayed entry program, which grounded me to be a lifelong Navy female medical assistant. With that being said, my dream was to be in the military until I had to go. But that dream is crushed when I was honorably discharged due to not being combat ready in the medical realm. Instead of having a year of transition, I had 1 month, which was devastating. Because with that 1 month, I had no idea how to transition. I was literally homeless a total of 6 times between the years of 2007 to 2016. With that being said, I transitioned from Virginia to Florida to Connecticut. And in Connecticut, I've met some of the most phenomenal veterans affiliates, which would be a combination of Al Galorn, who is a Vietnam veteran, in connection with Easter Seals, which I am very grateful for Beth Pritchard. She is a phenomenal leader, she's a mentor, and she will be a lifelong friend. She not only helped me with emergency finances with my vehicle, she's going to help me with more stable housing as far as areas are concerned. She's also helping me with my PTSD because that still has not been fully addressed to the capacity it needs to be. She's also helping me with a stable, not job, but career. And she's also showing me that there's people out there who care about female veterans, not just female veterans, but veterans in general. But I want to say out there to those female veterans who are in need, please run to Easter Seals because they will not turn you away.
Awesome. So help me to understand.
Mhm.
So you got out within 30 days,
Mhm.
and now you're a civilian.
Mhm.
And so share with us what you weren't equipped with, and so what was the cause of the homelessness? What
Mhm.
was the cause of you not being able to create a foundation for yourself?
So you want to start with that part or start all over?
No, just that
That
part.
part?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I was honorably discharged in 2007 due to not being combat ready, due to not having the full package of staying in the military.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought of something. So, I was discharged,
Mhm.
honorably discharged,
Mhm.
unexpectedly.
That's right.
Unexpectedly, I was honorably discharged
Mhm.
after 6 years of service.
Right.
And, what else was I just gonna say? Unexpectedly, I was honorably discharged. Oh. And my dreams of being a lifelong, or a Navy careerist, like what do you call?
You call this, you just say lifer.
Okay, a lifer,
Mhm.
okay, there you go.
That's, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's the term.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me just get myself together how
Yeah.
to say it. Okay. I was honorably discharged in 2007, unexpectedly. The first dream was to stay in for 20 years, but my dreams of being a lifer was crushed because I was not a combat-ready veteran, which was against doctor's orders, which...
Okay, that's good, that's good. Can you say after 6 years of service?
Okay.
Yep, because we don't know 2001 to 2006.
Okay, that's right.
You know, we're not good with
We'll do the
math, so if you
math.
could
Okay.
do the math for us, that would be great.
6 years of serving my country.
Yeah.
After 6 years of serving my country honorably, I was discharged in 2007, unexpectedly, and it crushed my dreams of becoming a lifer in the military. With that being said, that led to me not having the proper transition of any sailor, soldier, or Marine that gets 1 year of transition. Mine was condensed to 1 month. With that being said, I had no guidance of how to turn over my life to civilian practice, which led me to feel betrayed, which was a sign of PTSD, alone, and just hopeless. Because what I lived for, which was being in the military for years to come, was not any longer in existence. And it made me feel like it was my fault. But in essence, it wasn't. It was an undiagnosed PTSD diagnosis that was never, ever even granted to me. And with that being said, I literally went through pure turmoil, distress, homelessness, displacement. I was all over the place until I finally met affiliates of the veterans, which are the Easter Seals. And I am here today because of them. Not because they could help, it's because they will help. Financially, they helped me with my vehicle. They're continuously telling me that I'm not alone, and I feel that way because we're in contact more than once a week. On the employment side, I'm not gonna have just a job, I'm gonna have a career. On me experiencing this third childbirth, they're helping me with any and everything that I need within their scope and beyond their scope. So if any female veteran, not just female, but this is gearing towards females, that is out there, that is in need of any help, that feels like you have nowhere to go, no way to turn, please run to Easter Seals because they are the foundation of your next journey.
Awesome. But talk also about how, I mean, this started in 2006. What are 12 years? 12 years you've been trying to find the help that you need in order to, get on your feet. Yeah, just hold that over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're doing amazing.
So talk about how, thank you. Talk about how from 2006 until, well, 2007 until now.
Yeah, so you went to, you know, Veterans Affairs and, you know, this place and that place and that place and that place and little things, right? But Easter Seals, it sounds, is helping
package.
with, exactly.
Okay.
So
The whole person and family.
That's
there
right.
you go. There you go. Yeah, so you want to
Start at the discharge? Okay.
Yeah.
So upon discharge, the transition was horrible. I literally had affiliates help, but none to the capacity of Easter Seals. And this has been a 12-year ongoing process.
Okay, stop for 1 second. I don't know what an affiliate is. What do you mean by that?
Maybe a veteran's advocate?
Yes,
Okay,
that
good.
sounds better. Okay.
Yeah.
So upon discharge, after 6 years of serving honorably in 2007, until now, I've been literally giving help, but minimal. It's not to the capacity of Easter Seals. Easter Seals is the whole spectrum of what you need. They help with family and they help with your stability, because if you're not stable, you can't help your family and you can't transition. So on the financial status side, they help me with my vehicle, which is definitely number one important.
Okay, we're good. We got that.
Okay.
About 10 times already.
Okay.
That's good. You don't have to say that anymore.
Okay.
But in terms of like the other organizations
I'll name them.
that
Oh.
you, well, I don't know that you want to name them, but maybe say like, how many have you been
Okay.
to?
I'm just doing mental count. Since I've been in Connecticut,
No. 12 years.
Because I thought you did a good job of saying she kind of was bouncing around and then found us.
right. So I could probably say seven plus organizations,
Mhm.
because I don't know the exact number, because it's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
okay.
And are these veterans specifically?
90% were veterans.
Organizations?
Mhm.
So are they veterans and community organizations?
Pretty
Or-
much Veterans Affairs in the state of Florida, state of Connecticut, VFWs. They've helped, but they can only help so much. Soldiers, sailors, and Marines are veterans, so I really don't want to mention them because these are individuals who are not,
Right.
you know. So I'm going to say 7+ organizations.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe if you can talk to that you've worked with, or you've received help from, you know, a number of organizations along the way, but none of them has helped me the way you have.
Right. That sounds good. Okay. Upon discharge in 2007, the transition was not anywhere near I needed to be. I was discharged within a month of orders rendered, and with that being said, I was homeless about 6 times. I utilized 7+ organizations, and none of them put together even touches how Easter Seals will impact your life.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to back up. So what I'm hearing that you're not saying is, I didn't know how to be a civilian.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
you could say
Okay.
that. So I was discharged and I
Mhm.
didn't know how to be a civilian.
Well, you went in at 17, and you grew up
Yeah,
in
so
6
you,
years
I
in the
mean,
military, you
you
didn't know any
never
difference.
worked, you had no work history or anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
talk
wouldn't.
to that, because that's a real.
Big
that's-
pointer.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, being discharged after 7+ years of service, all I knew was the military. And I was discharged blindsided, and I had no idea how to be a civilian or where to begin. With that being said, I experienced 6 years of being displaced and homeless. I've utilized 7+ organizations. I'm grateful that they helped, but nothing to the capacity of Easter Seals. Their whole spectrum and realm is to help you, your family, and your life. I will never ever forget how I've been impacted by this organization, because if it wasn't for them, I would feel like I'm back at square one again. But their motto is "You're not alone," and they've showed me that numerous times in the small amount of time that I've been encountered with them. So if you are a female veteran who is in need, please do not hesitate to entertain Easter Seals, because it's not that they could help, they will help.
That's very nice. Okay, what else?
I think you're hitting on it. I don't know if you feel like it would be beneficial to, and it's only if you're comfortable, talking about, you said, like you lost 20 pounds, like what, when we say I didn't know how to transition, plus I had PTSD, and here's what that looks like for me,
Mhm.
right? Caused
Mhm.
me to lose weight, caused me to, you said some things earlier, but maybe put it all in one little succinct area,
Mhm.
to help people understand what you're going through,
Hmm.
right? You come home with these extra things
Mhm.
Package.
that are a result
Mhm.
of you serving our country.
Mhm.
And I gotta tell you, from a civilian standpoint, that's powerful, right?
Mhm.
I tell
You're
you, I'm
right.
grateful for you, right? I mean,
Yes.
without people like you, we don't sit here and do things like this, because we're not living free,
Right.
so.
But if you can talk about, you mentioned it
The-
before off camera, about the smell.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
specifics.
Yeah,
If you
we
can
talk-
talk about that, that's fine.
Yes,
but
yeah.
there's no issue not to, but that's a poignant thing to
Help
get their
people
attention.
understand.
And
That every
and how
situation.
you got to the point where you're at.
Right.
Because of what you went through.
So we'll start with the wartime experience and then
Yeah.
just go. Okay. So my wartime experience was definitely a life changer. I worked on a burn unit, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. The stench of burnt skin resulted in me losing 20 pounds within 10 months, and that was not by choice. I actually held a baby for 30 minutes at a time to make sure that they were at least in some type of comfort measures. And that was not by orders, that was by choice. My life was changed. I can't ever imagine having to go through something at the age that I did like that. So I decided to continue the military and transition into schooling. With that being said, my dreams of being a lifer changed. So from the age of 17 to 24, I was like, I'm on the right path. But I did not realize that PTSD was my demon, it was my nightmare. At that time, I graduated in 2007. The military decided to discharge me because I was not combat ready. And by not being combat ready, you cannot be in the military. Second sign of PTSD, which means my transition process was demolished. I didn't have a year of transition, I had 1 month. And you have to follow orders. With that being said, 6 years of in and out of homelessness, 7+ organizations trying to be an aid of me will not even come close to what Easter Seals has done and will do. They are lifelong friends, mentors, and leaders. at this point in my life, I feel like I can't change what happened, but I can only move forward. And the journey is now, I have help. I had help financially, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. All those encompassed is going to make me feel like, yes, I served, yes, my dreams were crushed, but it's not the end of the world. So if you reach out to Easter Seals and you really work at it, they'll go that extra mile for you. And they're the best organization that I've come across on the veteran side that really means well.
Awesome.
I hope so.
Really, you are amazing. Want some more water? I think that was good. I think
so.
I think we're great.
VA tomorrow and say, I'm in need, they're gonna say, we only have this, we're gonna outsource you, which is terrible, because why are they there? Because you were there to sign me up and sign my life away, you know? So it's like, what do you do with a veteran now that really was honorably discharged, but you know, the code that they gave me, I could never go back in. So it's like they gave me a double whammy. So, but I mean, I still use the GI Bill. I do have college background, but again, you need the transition. That transition really helps people, and it didn't happen, and that was the scariest time of my life, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I going?
Right. Yeah.
You're upside down.
Yeah. Well, and even for people veterans who come home and are discharged through the normal process,
Mm-hmm.
we hear that, and we're partners with the VA, but
Mhm.
there's just, the resources aren't there. They still feel lost.
No.
They still, because often they'll say, look, I was there, but all I could think about was going home.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to stamp on my paper
Mhm.
so I could go home,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing, so that's why a small percentage of veterans even access the benefits.
They don't even know.
Which is why we bring a VSO on site on a scheduled basis, sit down with veterans and say,
This is what we have here.
here's what you've earned.
Yeah.
Are you aware of it? And here's
No, we
how
don't.
you access it, right?
And do you have family?
In Texas, that's the closest, which is far. But my kids' families here, they don't understand. They don't. My dad does, because I'm like, Dad, I'm getting help. He's like, and you serve the country. You should be getting help, you
Right.
know? And he's a pastor. I'm spiritual, so I do have a lot of that. That's helped a lot.
That's good, yeah.
But they don't.
So are the family, so it's the kid's family,
That's in
that's
Connecticut.
are they involved at all or no? Like, do
Minimal.
they help you at all?
Minimal. I'm literally gonna, if my boyfriend's mom cannot come up, which she is, but I don't want to burden her with a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, I'm gonna have to pay one of them to watch my kids for 3+ days.
Is the family?
Yeah. So we're trying to get that taken care of. That's my only concern.
Yeah, the child
My only
care.
concern right
I
now.
think it's a doorbell.
Yeah.
I heard that earlier. It's like, that's odd.
So it's like, that's my only thing right now that really I'm worried about.
Well, and the child care will come into play too when you go back to
Oh
work,
yes, most
which
definitely.
we're already thinking
But
about.
it's when I'm in the hospital, those,
When you're
I'm not
doing-
gonna be able to leave and go check on them, so I'm just trying to sit him down, say, and says, listen, we need to ask her today, will she do that piece for me?
Yeah,
Because I don't need to come out any more financially than I already
right.
So your
can.
boyfriend's still in the picture?
Oh yes, he
Oh,
is.
good. Okay.
Because he didn't work, and this is just something small, and she knows this. He didn't work because I was in school full time. And let me tell you what the VA did. They didn't pay for my school 100%, which I was told that I was an honor student. I'm like, what's going on with these people? Why wouldn't they tell me? Well, my school mainly didn't receive a check since May of 2017. I didn't find this out until January. Here I am waiting for a Pell Grant that was supposed to be $3,000. I could have lived off of that. I'm on the HUD-VASH program. I could have sustained living. I didn't know this until my check was already cut. I'm supposed to go to East Hartford to pick it up. They're like, wait, the VA didn't pay, and now you tell me? So this is another reason why I've landed here, because I'm like, how do you not follow up on a tuition payment that it's not going to go away? It's either going to go on my credit or it's going to be paid. he didn't work because our living was okay. He was watching the kids at night. That was the only time I could go to school from 5 to 10. Well, actually, he watched them from like 3 to 10 because I had to travel to school. So now he's like, I'm stuck. Now I have to hurry up and find a job because I thought I was going to be able to during the time I was delivering.
So, you know, we help the whole family. I know you're not married, but he's your significant other.
Yes.
So he can come into our vocational services.
That would be
for you.
great. I'm going to let him know because he's looking. He's not a lazy person. He was just my sitter, and I enjoyed that because I didn't have to. I was paying $500 a month for someone to watch my kid at night. That was a big chunk of the veterans' money that was allotted to me for those 5 months. And I lived off of that from November until January, the what was left.
Right.
So it's just crazy, but I have to get a career. I'm not going to go back to school until it's already paid for. Some hospital has to say, we'll pay for it, because now I'm like, and the veterans can't do anything after you're exhausted, because they said, if you exhaust your funds, we're not going to help you. But the school was not proactive, and this is where the Elizabeth Epsy came into play.
Right, so, and we're getting involved in that, right? Because we have a relationship there. So I called in and said, hey, because they have a stack, right?
Mhm,
It's like
yeah.
I want yours brought up to the top to see what.
And he's been emailing me, but it's not like he doesn't understand, but it's like I want to have a conversation with him. Yes,
Yeah,
because
I
he's
want you
thinking
to-
that I'm asking about employment. No, I need you to get on my school
It's the,
and the VA piece.
right. So I called Sherry, I would like you to deal with Sherry Bull.
That would
That's
be
who you
better.
deal with, so
Because
I'll
he's
have
got
to-
a lot. He even told me, he's like, if I don't get back to you, it's because my workload. I'm like, okay, I'm glad you said that,
Yeah.
because maybe someone else can take that on.
Right.
You know, I don't want to overload anyone, but I do want my situation like that.
Yeah, well, Sherry's his boss,
Great.
so.
So we'll connect with her.
So he's sending you up, he's not sending you down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
No,
what
I'm sending
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
He said he might not get back to her. I know who he is.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's a
Yeah.
veteran himself. So Sherry.
I felt that because I felt, not that he was all over, veterans, you know what I mean? I knew it. I'm like, oh my God, I felt like, and I'm not trying to be, I'm like, he's probably got some PTSD going on because he's not following. I said, I'm not asking for employment. I want you guys to tackle the school and the VA situation because somebody needs to be responsible for this. That's all.
What are you going to school for?
Well, I went to school for medical office professional. I've already graduated pharmacy tech, medical billing, and coding. This was just them kind of combined. And now I'm like, nope, I'm going to take everything I have and make it a career.
Pair it together, yeah.
There's just no reason to keep going to school. I'm scared that this is going to happen again. Like, I'm like, oh no, he's like vocational rehab. They're paying $900 a month. I cannot live off of that with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Even if my rent is paid for, it's still a piece that's going to come out.
Right.
And, you know, I don't want to be on state stuff forever. It exhausts me. So I'm not in a position to continue I just need to have a job.
Yeah.
And
That's how you get fully to the other side and then sustain things, as
Mhm.
you know, right?
Right.
That's the job.
and I was rewarded because in 2015, they were gun-ho veterans. They're like, you're a veteran, let's go. But then there's some people who turn on the news, and you guys know what happened in Texas. He was an Air Force veteran that shot up that church. In the back of people's minds, they're like, veteran, oh no, somebody's gonna go crazy and shoot up the place. I mean, you have to be mindful. Yes, your service is appreciated, but there are individuals who make it bad.
They fear it.
They fear.
Yeah.
Some, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Some who don't really understand, because there are civilians that go in and shoot up places too. But we still employ
Well,
civilians.
that's right.
I'm just
That's
saying.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. I'm like, what went wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why didn't somebody reach out to him?
Well, clearly, right? He
Mhm.
needed some help and didn't
Mhm.
get it.
Right.
And so way before that incident.
Because he had issues.
Right.
And they just kind of, and that's the thing with us. They feel like female veterans, we're women, we can handle it. No, our instinct first is to survive, but how long are you in survival mode? That's tiring. I didn't sleep. I have sleep apnea. I don't go to bed at night sometimes, even not just due to the pregnancy, but because of what I experienced. I don't go to sleep sometimes. I'm just up. And I'm working on that. Tomorrow's my first appointment. So.
Yeah, good,
Mhm.
good. And then we'll get you into the
Mhm.
peer-to-peer. Because that's where we bring other female veterans together,
Mhm.
and they can talk about,
Now I'm
that.
ready for that.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 years ago, I was walking out of the place. I'm like, there's no way. This woman was raped. There's no way I could hear this right now.
Yeah.
But
Right.
now I'm like, hey, let's build. Let's have a veterans org, because we're like a few votes away from having our own party, the veterans party.
Yeah.
So let's build on that. Let's not focus on what we've been through only. Let's try to get to where we're heard
Yeah.
at a national level, not just,
Right. Power in numbers.
yeah.
Well, I'm a firm believer that everyone goes through certain experiences
Mhm.
in order to be able to learn
Mhm.
things that they need to learn that benefit them in
In the
other
future,
parts of
that's
their
right.
life. So, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you
That does.
stronger.
That's right.
There's truth to that.
Yeah.
It's very true
Yeah.
because not everybody could experience that. I mean,
No,
the
exactly.
suicide rate, I don't even want to go there. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
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 So
But you
it's,
survived it all.
it's,
I mean, that's huge.
people don't even know half of this stuff. I felt like it was like I was reliving it all over again because I don't talk to everybody because they don't understand. And when someone disrespects me, the first card I use, I serve this country.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I went to my prenatal appointment. This woman's like, well, we can give you an NST. I says, do you understand I need to see my baby on the camera? She didn't know that I did medical maternity for 3 years.
I understand what you should be
I
doing.
said, no, I need to see my baby. And an NST is not a video, it's a reading. And she just looked at me like, who is this girl? But you know, you have to train people how to deal with you because not everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what job you have. Like this camera thing, that would have been upside down, you know, or something. But I respect people and I respect those who take time to do stuff like this. I appreciate you guys. I really do.
Well, we appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.
You're going to be helping a lot of people.
I hope
That's
so.
the- you know, I don't
And you
know.
always say that.
You know,
You always say, I don't know. I don't
mean,
really
you
realize.
And I would love I'd like to get your photo. I'll take a photo with you if you don't mind.
Yes.
You will empower so many other, not only female vets, all veterans, but also civilians, and you're
Mhm.
helping civilians understand.
How to deal with this. Mm-hmm.
Like, to your point, hiring a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we should be.
We have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny. One of my role models is Diane Sawyer, and she has my birthday, and I always wanted to be a journalist.
Oh, well.
And she has my exact
You're
birthday.
very good at speaking.
I hope so, because
You're gonna be the mentor.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
That's how I want to give back.
You
That's the only
you
way.
say, I'm your mentor. That will
Yes.
flip. You will be
I
someone
hope
else's
so.
mentor. I'll still be
I
with
will-
you always, but you will then assume that role with someone else.
And I want to.
You will.
Yeah.
No question.
And you know
about it.
how much you've grown over the years.
Mhm.
So just imagine, 5 years from now.
Who I could impact. That's right.
Absolutely.
And even now, I mean, you're impacting.
Yeah.
Through what you just did today, that you will impact many. You will impact many.
That was my dream, to
Many,
be
many,
somewhere where I could just get.
We will get your voice out there,
Mhm.
and so people.
And you won't even know it.
No, it's
You
the
won't
thing.
even
I
know
still
it.
don't feel like
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
But you've heard the, what is it, the metaphor of the, the pebble in the pond?
Yes.
The ripple.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
The ripple effect.
Yeah. So with this video,
It's
that's
just gonna
the
grow.
pebble going into the pond.
And
Yeah.
doot, doot, doot.
Yeah.
And I swear, Vietnam veterans are my favorite. They went through pure hell. And to speak to Al and to meet him, I was
Yeah.
like, you're my grandpa. But he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's still around. And
Yeah.
they're the most giving out of all the veterans.
Mhm.
VVA, Vietnam Veterans of America, they give. They will come to your house.
Nice.
So, yeah, he took me to the grocery store. when
I know,
did
well,
this.
so
He
that's
did.
how I learned about LaCroix. Mr. Al, he called him. And so then we check in, him and I, to make sure we're covering what you need.
Mhm.
And I had shared that I came out and visited with you, and then the next time we connect, the following week we connected, he said, yeah, I went out too, and she needed some food, so I took her to the grocery store. He
Mhm.
said, he wasn't used to that. You know, he's, I don't know if his wife usually goes or whatever, but.
He was like, "And your boyfriend?"
Yeah.
And I felt like in church, because in church you don't go without the spouse because they don't want to be tempted or something go crazy. So I felt like I was in a church scenario. That's why I said grandpa. And I was like, my boyfriend can't come. He has to watch the kids. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I threw up in front of him and everything. He's medical. Our last names are exactly spelled the same, but the N and the Y.
Oh,
Isn't that something? Yeah.
He's like, I'll never forget you. And he's adorable. When I met him, he's just all over the place. He's so sweet, but he's intelligent. And we're going to talk about my PTSD today, so I can be ready for the appointment. But he's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, we're so happy that you're
Thank you.
getting all this incredible help.
Thank you.
Um,
And there's
all the
people who want to
who get
give,
help,
they just
yeah.
don't know how. They're like, where are these veterans, you know?
Right. And that's
Yeah.
part of our, which also you're helping us with through this video, is letting veterans and their families know we're here. Like, come in,
Yes.
you know, right, get the word out. It
Mhm.
helps get the word out, because that's an important factor as well.
It is.
All right, well,
Fantastic.
Thank
so
you.
I will see you
Oh, thank
later in the
you.
week here
Yes.
with that delivery.
I'll definitely be at home.
So that'll be
I'm
fun.